Hi guys, so now what we're going to see is that we're going to see how to create a listener node using tf2. First, what you need to do is you have to make sure that you created the required files over here, and then you go into the source directory. So this is the previous file which I was been using, but what you need to do is you're going to download a new file which is in wget raw github user ros geometry turtles jazzy, and then you have to give this turtle tf2 source, and here you're going to download the listener.cpp file. So it's going to be listener, and once you do that, as you see that it has made a request to that. It is resolving the ip address and it's connecting to this particular website or this particular port number. Once it's been connected, it's waiting for a request, and you're getting an http response, and the response is okay. So the response code is 200, and you're seeing the length of the response, which is in plain text, it's around 5k, and it's saving to this particular file, right? So that is the content which is needed, which is there in the application layer. And you take this content, it is the time it takes, like to in order to do that. So like once it keeps scrolling and it's reached 100 percentage, and this is the size of the file. So now you see the final thing saying that it has been saved here, and this is the time it takes to do that. And now what you're going to do is that you're going to open the file to understand what is there in it, right? So you have this file turtle listener, so you give turtle listener over here, right? And you see the entire code here. So we're going to look through the code to understand what is there in it, and understanding what is the work that is done by the listener program. So let's examine the program, and we'll understand how the service behind spawning the turtle works through. Uh, let's take a look at the code that is relevant to get access to the frame transformations. Right, we'll go start from that. So the ros2 contains a transform listener class that makes the task of receiving transforms easier. So when you scroll down, there is this particular header transform listener dot h, and this is going to get the particular class which is needed for listening for the transforms. So here we create a transform listener object. As you scroll down, you can just see that we are accessing this transform listener class from tf2 ros. That is the package name. So here we are having this class, and we are creating an object of that class, and the object is going to be stored in the variable tf underscore listener. So finally, we query the listener for a specific transformation. We call a loop or transform method with some arguments like the target frame, source frame, and the time at which we want to transform. So we look up underscore transform, right? When you scroll down, you have here in this place look up transform. So where we give the target frame, that is a two frame relative, and we give the source frame from frame relative, and then the time which you're going to give here like this. And you're putting in try catch. If there is any error, then it will just catch the error exception, and then you can it's going to put it in the saying that which you cannot do the transformation like that. It's going to send a message. So we're giving a timer that on this timer it will going to go get that frame, and then it is going to give it to turtle2. So we want to give it to turtle2, so that is the two frame over here. So the resulting transformation represents the position and orientation of the target turtle relative to target turtle2. The angle between the turtles is then used to calculate the velocity command to follow the target turtle. Now, what we're going to do is that next we are going to open cmake list directory, sorry, file. So when I go one step up in the directory, you see a file called as cmakes. Okay. So what you're going to do is that you're going to open this file and you're going to add the executable and name it as a turtletf listener, right? So the executable name will be that which you're going to create here. So here when I come to add executable here, I'm going to add one more executable, add underscore executable turtletf2 or listener, and the directory is source not cpp, right? And the dependencies are this same thing. So now we have the broadcaster for the earlier project. Now we are going to add this to listener over here, which is needed for this project. And also we have a geometry which was included for the previous one, and tf2 is there, and ros is there, and also sim is there, right? All these things are which are needed for, which I added in the previous project, which is right now there. And you have to install the targets. And now when you install the targets, I'm going to check going to keep both the installs here. One is for installing the previous target, and now I'm going to do it for the current one. And when I do that, I get this particular thing. So now you need to update the launch file, and you're going to give some command into that in order to make it happen. So now you're going to create a launch file. So what you need to do is you have to create open the directory launch. You're not created that, you have to just create that. And inside that, what you need to do is that you have to create a file called as a total tf2 demo launch, right? Which is already here. And you're going to create two nodes, new nodes to launch the description, add launch argument, and add the imports. So for that, uh, what we're going to do is that we are going to add that thing. We're going to open this file, total tf2 demo launch, and then whatever the code, earlier code, this is the earlier code for that. So let me just take a backup of that code. So I'm going to put it in this is for the broadcaster. So I'm just going to say it as broadcaster, and I'm not going to call this thing. I'm just going to keep it uh, there itself, right? I'm just going to not make use of this code. It is going to be there. I'm going to make use of only the ones which I created right now. I'm going to delete this code, the entire code. And I'm going to paste a entire piece of code here. This code is actually telling to create two nodes. Over here you're creating a node, turtlesim executable is given there. Then you're creating this executable broadcaster, which is needed for turtle1. And then over here you're declaring the launch arguments here, and you're creating one more executable with that particular name, and here you're creating the listener, right? All these nodes are created now. So once you're done with that, you can go back and check the dependencies are okay or not. So I'm just going one step up, and over here what I'm going to do is that I give rosdep the install from package, the distro is jazzy, and it says that everything has been successful. And now I can do colcon, the same directory. And here, when I give this thing, it's going to run check and it says, oops, there's an error in this, which I'm going to fix it now. Okay. So there was some minor typo here. Instead of writing turtle, I have written the wrong spelling. So once I correct that thing, and then once I give colcon again, okay, it says that the broadcaster is not found. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that package in this particular thing. Okay, over here, what I done is that I kept this broadcaster. So it's saying that the error is because of this, and so I'm going to remove this line and I'm going to execute again. And there is a error again, uh, which is coming from saying that there is no file like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the previous the project's information which is found in this file. So I'm going to delete the previous things over here. This is the one which I was added for the previous project, which I'm going to remove. And this is for the previous project, which I'm going to remove it. Right. So hopefully it should work. Yeah. So it's because of the previous project's information which was there in that CMake list. It was not executing. Now it is executing fine. So now what I can do is that I can uh, source the bash file. So I'll just open this thing to source it up. And then what I will have to do is that I will have to do ros2 launch. I'm just going to give this learning TPP and turtle demo launch .xml file. And I'll give this and you should be able to see the turtle. So now what you can do is that I can just change the size of this window so that you can have a full view of what is happening there. Right? As you see, there are two turtles here, and the first turtle is following the second turtle. Right? So now, after launching that, in the second window, you're going to type the command for getting the keyboard, and the command is going to be here. This is the command. So once I type this, I can move my turtle, like I can move it, and even this second turtle will follow me. And that's it. And thank you so much for watching it. Bye.